And right here.
You're in the left forward for you.
Okay. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark, and I'm back with another video. If you're new, if you love Bel-Air, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Like the video and leave your theories, comments, everything down below. Now today, we'll be talking about Bel-Air Season 2, Episode 1. This is the recap. Now I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. And man, what a season opener of Bel-Air. Your boy Will, he's finally back home at the Banks household. We know he was doing his thing out there with Jazz, but he was getting money playing street ball. And we know Will, he's going to mess around and get in trouble doing that. We know what happened back in Philly, and a lot of his, peers and friends and family kept telling him, look, you're going to mess around and go back to your old ways and slip up. So hopefully that does not happen down the line. But we know that recruiter Doc Hightower, he definitely has an agenda. We're going to talk about that in this video. But we saw Will and Lisa officially break up. And you already know it's going to get real interesting when Will start messing around with Jackie. It's going to get crazy. So y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But let's go over the title and the description of this episode. The title of episode 1 is called A Fresh Start. The description of the episode reads, Will works on being fully independent from the Banks after a fallout with his father, Lou. So the events that we're seeing in this episode is about 2 weeks after the events of the season 1 finale. Will is trying to be independent and get himself together. And of course, he's still having issues with Uncle Phil. And I'm glad that they was able to squash the issues that they had in this episode. What do y'all think about Uncle Phil and Jeffrey? I mean, it still seems like there's some tension in the air. And Phil is not, feeling Jeffrey like that ever since what happened at the end of season 1. As I told y'all, I'm going to try my best to focus on all the key points in this episode. If I miss anything, you guys let me know down below. So what did we see in episode 1, titled A Fresh Start? Now the episode begins with Will. We see him waking up, getting ready for the day. He's trying to get this money, and of course he has a lot of pressure on him because he wants to be independent. He don't want to ask his family for nothing, and it seems like Will may be going back to some of the old ways of his past. We meet the character JB. Will is talking to him about meeting up with Doc. We know Doc Hightower is a basketball recruiter, and Will wants to get an opportunity to meet him and impress him. And apparently this Doc Hightower has helped a lot of athletes get to D1 schools, and some of them even went to pro level. So that's what Will's going to be trying to do in this episode. Now Ashley is going to be having a birthday party in this episode. She really just wants to donate money to a charity of her choice. Her family wants to do everything big, but she said if she can wish for anything, that will be for Will to come back. And apparently Will has been, talking to all the family members except Uncle Phil. He's still having issues with him, and Viv wants Uncle Phil to apologize to Will in order for them to fix the relationship, and of course in order for Will to finally come back. Now Jazz has returned. We know Will is staying with him. It's been about 2 weeks, and we know Will, he's been coming home late on certain days or whatever, and Jazz is just trying to look out for him, asking him if he's good. We know he's playing basketball to get money, and he just don't want him to go back to his old ways and slips up out here on these streets like we saw him in the very first season. Now Carlton picks up Will, and Will gives him back the money that Carlton gave him at the end of season 1. And Carlton's like, man, where did you get all this money? Will's not really trying to tell him, but he tells him like, look, I'm my own man now. Like, look, I don't have to ask anybody for money. Carlton, he wants Will to just come back home and ask his parents for money if he needs it. He just wants to make sure that he's not out there doing anything stupid, just like everybody else. Now, Will does end up telling Carlton that he's getting money from playing basketball. His boy JB is supposed to be helping him meet Doc Hightower, the basketball recruiter, and Will pretty much just wants to go back to his old ways as far as taking basketball serious, and he wants his second chance. But Carlton is telling him he can get help from his dad, and even though they're having issues, his dad is not perfect. He just wants his cousin to come back home because he wants to keep him out of trouble, just like your boy Jazz wants to keep him out of trouble. But we know they will end up having a conversation later on in the episode. Now Uncle Phil is preparing to go back to work. Aunt Viv is telling him don't rush back into it so hard, and she's preparing to have this interview for this article, but she's not in the best mood because Will's not there. I mean, everybody wants him back, and of course Uncle Phil's talking about it was his pop's fault that messed everything up, and he just can't go grab Will and bring him back. But Aunt Viv does tell him he could apologize and have that conversation with him, and we know Uncle Phil just walks out. Now, We get to your boy Will and Carlton. Carlton is feeling good about himself because Will is there. He feels like they're a dynamic duo. He's not really feeling his old friends. We know he had issues with Connor last season, and it seems like the old friends that he was hanging around with, they still hating on him. We see Yasmin, and we see that connection between Carlton and Yasmin. We knew he would have a love interest just based off that official trailer. Will is telling him he need to get on that. But Carlton is talking about, well, they don't really have a lot of classes like that together, so it ain't like they really seeing each other. So Will's like, all right, I got you. I'm going to hook something up and make sure y'all get the opportunity to connect. Now, Viv is having her interview, and she's talking about how she's going to use her fellowship to promote the upcoming new artist. Now, Reed from last season, who was trying to hook up with Viv, Michael Ealy, he put out that she's going to use the fellowship for established artists or whatever. So the problem is, Viv has already told Reed this. He knows that she wants to promote the new artist, so it's kind of confusing on why he will even do this. But Viv explains that she wants to change the game. She does not want to do the traditional approach when it comes to her fellowship. Her whole focus is new artists, and that's exactly what she wants to do. Now, Lisa and Will have not been talking like that since the season finale. She's been giving him space, trying to give him time to clear his mind, and she wants to have a conversation. Will is saying, look, we should talk, and she's going to Ashley's party, but we know Will, he's not going. He says he still has issues with Uncle Phil, and he does not want to bring that bad vibe there. His classmate walks in with the new Georgetown Sixes on, and Will, he ain't even thinking about Lisa. And she's like, well, I guess we'll talk eventually or whatever. She's pissed off, but Will, he knows what time it is. He knows deep down inside that he wants to break things off with Lisa because all the different things that are going on in both of their lives. I know later on in the episode, he does tell her if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. So we shall see what they're going to do with this storyline down the line. Now we get to Hillary and Ivy. They're in the influencer house. We learned earlier on in the episode that Hillary is the house manager, and apparently Ivy needs her to fire the two brothers that we know that be joking around from last season. They were still in the house. They supposed to be gone, and it seems like Hillary has to do all the dirty work, and she's not liking it. And we know Ivy, she's promoting her new drink. She wants everybody to take a picture with it. So she's not really caring about anything else but herself. And it seems like Hillary's getting the short end of the stick. Now Jazz tells Hillary, like, look, you got to step up. If you don't do anything about this, she will continue to boss you around. You have to let her know that you are not about to just sit around and allow her to do that. And Jazz is like, look, we should go to Ashley's party as a couple together. But Hillary is like, nah, she doesn't want to really ruin anything, and she don't want everybody all up in her business. But we learn later on in the episode, she got a little bit jealous of Ivy when Ivy was all up on Jazz, so maybe she did not make the best decision earlier on. And we get the OG, triple OG, the real Ashley Banks. She is here, but in this show, she is Ashley's teacher, and she gives her the book, The Revolution Has Come. It's about black women in the Black Panther Party and the roles they played. And she's going to give Ashley credit if she does like a 2-page summary on it. But it seems like Ashley, she got some haters up in the class. I guess the white girl, Olivia, she's not liking what's going down. And she feels like, you know, maybe Miss Hughes is giving Ashley some favoritism. Now, Will takes Carlton to the BSU meeting, and that's because Yasmin is in there. But we see Drew's in there, Lisa's in there, and Drew's pissed off. He's like, look, Carlton, he hasn't been in here. The last time he was in here when he was trying to get votes, and once he got elected, he never showed back up, and he ain't liking it, right? Now, Carlton does state that that is true, that he, you know, was in there for the votes and everything like that, but the real reason why he hasn't shown back up is because everybody there, they don't really do nothing. All they do is complain about stuff. They don't run for student government, and they don't actually try to change anything, and that ain't what he's about. He's about changing, and Will's talking about how, look, Carlton is willing to pitch bigger ideas for the student union, and Yasmin is like, look, well, she's here for it. Just make sure you come to the meetings. Those ideas can be discussed. Now, Uncle Phil goes back to work, and he's talking about how he wants to change things at this firm. You know, he's starting to remember why he, you know, is there in the first place. And his partner, James, is telling him, like, man, everybody's surprised that you're even back so soon, and you trying to come back with so much force. And you can tell Uncle Phil kind of felt some type of way about that. Now, as Ashley is walking through the hallway, she sees that Mrs. Hughes is having some issues in her classroom, and apparently she's getting into some type of trouble. And it could be because she gave her that extra credit. Maybe the girl went back and said that, she's given, favoritism to certain students. So I'm eager to see what's going to go down with Miss Hughes in the later episodes. Now, Will's having a conversation with Jeffrey. He needs some advice. We know Will's out there doing what he has to do. He's trying to be independent. He still is pissed off about his pops, Uncle Phil, and how he was lied to. And Jeffrey's telling him, like, look, you need to go have that conversation with him. You know what I'm saying? You need to stop doing what scares you, stop hiding, and, sit down and talk to your uncle. And he's telling Will, like, it feels like you're going back to your old ways, because we know Will does tell him about the whole basketball thing with him getting money and stuff like that. And Jeffrey's not really feeling that. You know what I'm saying? He feels just like everybody else is feeling, that Will's going to eventually mess up. So he advises him to talk to Uncle Phil, telling him that Uncle Phil still loves him. And look, things can be fixed. Now, Jeffrey decides to go and have a conversation with Uncle Phil and Viv. Viv was cool or whatever. She gave him a hug. And your boy Jeffrey tells him, like, look, he's sorry for what he's done in the past when it came to Will. He did what he did because of the things that he was dealing with his son. And he pretty much just apologizes to him. But it still seems like Uncle Phil ain't feeling Jeffrey at all. Even though Jeffrey has said sorry, he's telling him about Will and maybe he's going back to his old ways. Your boy Uncle Phil doesn't seem like he's trying to hear it. And I mean, I'm just hoping that they can squash whatever they got going on. But that's going to all come down to how Uncle Phil wants to approach this in the future. Now, Will, he's telling Jazz that he's going to go to Ashley's party. And of course, he's going to plan on having that conversation with Uncle Phil to fix things. Will does get a call from JB telling him he needs to be at the basketball court in about an hour. But Will needs to be at the party, so he has to figure out a way to be at both events. Now, Will gets to the court. He tries to go have a conversation with Doc. Doc ain't really trying to talk to him. He says, look, talk to me after the game. Will goes to sit down. All of a sudden, we see a dog growling right in his face. And then we see Jackie. Now, remember, Jackie's supposed to be the Jackie from the original Fresh Prince, played by Tyra Banks. She's not giving Will her name. She tells him, if you want to impress Doc, you need to go out there and have a good game. And that's exactly what Will does. He goes out there. He's having a good competitive game with Big Dre. And this guy is over 6 feet tall. And he was dominating at first. But Will, he made those adjustments and he ended up getting the victory. And this is exactly what he needed, especially if he wants to impress Doc. Everybody's excited for him. He does talk to him after the game. He tells Will he knows exactly who he is. He said back when he was in Philly, he was averaging 25 a game. But now when he's out there in Bel-Air, he's only averaging 17 a game. That's because they're probably giving the ball to some people that probably don't even deserve to be out there playing. And Will's like, look, I need to get back to that top level, and having you help me out, that just may be what I need. But Doc tells him he's not accepting any new clients. But we know that's going to change at the end of the episode when he finds out about who Will really is and how much money his family has. Now, Will has another conversation with Jackie, and she finally gives him his name. You can already see the chemistry in the air with the two. And y'all know it's going to get crazy because we know Lisa's probably going to be jealous, and based off that trailer that they dropped at the end of the episode, that's definitely going to be the case. And I believe it's going to make the storyline that much more interesting. Now, Will and Jazz, they have to hurry up and leave the basketball court and get to Ashley's party before it's too late. They finally make it, and we can see that Ashley's very happy. And I want to know if we're going to get that Ashley and Will connection that we got in the original show. In season 1, they kind of hinted at it, but I believe in season 2, it looks like we're going to get a little bit more of that because we know Will and Ashley was very close. Now, Jazz and your girl Ivy, they dancing, having a good old time. And Ivy, she's pushing up all on him. She told Hillary, or at least she asked her, was he single? And once she got that confirmation, she did not waste any time at all. But we can see Hillary, she's jealous. She's pissed off that she's pushing up on Jazz. And that's her fault. She should have just agreed with Jazz and came there as a couple. Now, Uncle Phil and Will finally have a conversation. And Uncle Phil finally says he's sorry, you know what I'm saying, about what he did. He made a mistake and he wants to fix things with him. And if Will is to come home, they can continue to make things right. And that's a good thing. I'm glad that they were able to fix those issues and they did not waste a lot of time doing that. Now, Hillary invites Sweetie to come to Ashley's party. She's happy. They sing her happy birthday. They're having a lot of fun. And they tell Ashley to make a wish. But she's like, look, my wish already came true. I'm good. And that's that Will is here. Everything is good with the family once again. And of course, Will's going to come back home later on in the episode. Now, Will and Lisa finally had that conversation. And Lisa was kind of happy at first until Will told her that they're going to have to break up. It's too much going on with him and the stuff that he's dealing with. Her pops, we know he doesn't like Will, and he's not really trying to deal with all of that. He's telling her if it's meant to be, it's going to happen. So I'm eager to see how things are going to change throughout the season. We know Will does tell her he loves her, and as Will is walking away, Lisa tells him she loves him as well. Now Will finally comes back home. He has all of his stuff. The family, they are happy he is back. Uncle Phil, Viv, they're downstairs, and everything is good once again. Now we're going to see the new struggles, the new challenges that's going to affect this family and what's to come. Now we get back to Jazz, Ivy, and your girl Hillary, and they see that Sweetie has posted a picture of, her and Jazz, and of course, Ivy's new drink. And Ivy's like, man, you did that for me. She's all pushing up on Jazz, trying to kiss all up on him. And Hillary, she can't take it no more. She says, screw all that. Me and Jazz, we together. I'm not going for that. She, tells him that she really likes him and she wants to make it official. And I guess that's all she needed. She needed that motivation to see exactly what she was missing, because if she would have waited a little bit longer, your boy Jazz would have clapped those cheeks. Now, the article finally comes out about Viv, and apparently it's not even about the things she talked about as far as uplifting new artists. It's about Reed and him, discovering a forgotten artist and all the things that he sees in his vision. It doesn't have anything to do really about what she wanted, and she's pissed off. So now she's going to definitely confront him. Uncle Phil wanted to, but she told him she got it. That boy Reed is just trying to get some more one-on-one time with Viv. I can't wait to see how this is all going to play out. Now, the episode ends with Will having a conversation with Doc Hightower, and Doc is telling him, like, look, I'm going to come to your next game, whatever. He's been thinking about everything. His stats ain't the best, but he still wants to give Will a chance. And Will, he's happy because this is what he wanted. And it's kind of funny because I'm looking like, man, he kind of switched it up on Will. Something's up with this guy. It just doesn't seem like he's really sincere about what he wants to do. And then after he gets off the phone, he's having a conversation with JB. And he's talking about, like, man, everything ain't what it seems. And then he clicks on the tablet, and then we see the article about, the Banks family. Of course, Uncle Phil, they got money. So now I believe that's his motivation. He knows Will and his family has money, and now he's a little bit more interested in the Will. He already stated that this is not the typical kid he, works with, but it seems like he has a new motivation. I'm just hoping Will don't get hurt messing around with this dude. And, Will really wants to impress him. I'm just like, man, Will's going to be looking up to him, and then all of a sudden this dude's going to do something that pisses him off and is not going to end well. I just don't think his intentions are really good right now, but it is the first episode. We shall see how it ends up going as this story continues. But y'all leave y'all theories, predictions, leave it all down below. Y'all let me know, how do you think about the season opener? It's definitely seeming like it's going to be a solid season 2, and I cannot wait to see what's next. But I want to thank you guys once again for all the love, all the support, and I will catch y'all on the next one. But let me get up on out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.